Alright, here we go. So first I want to start off. It is January 1st, 2020. I got myself this dehydrator for Christmas. My uncle gave me $100. So I was like, I'm gonna get myself a dehydrator. And I've currently got apples and pears in here. Down here there's some cucumber. I also made some spaghetti sauce, so that's all in here. My goal is to make things for myself, be vegan while I'm on the trail. If at any point I need to get off that, then I can purchase something at the store as a resupply thing. That's not vegan, but I am officially, as of today, vegetarian. And so this is what I'm starting with. So far, I've been playing with this thing all week, but so far I've done the pineapple. And this was on sale at my local grocery store. It was pre-cored and everything like that. So this is essentially 2 pineapples minus all the trimmings. And then I also have kale. Dehydrated kale. This actually took a really short amount of time. I did a fruit leather trial. It didn't turn out great because I asked my brother to watch my dehydrator for me, and it got turned off before it was done. And I tried blueberries and raspberries and discovered that if you're going to do blueberries and raspberries and those sorts of berry fruits, unless you're cutting them up, you need to find a way to break the skin or weaken the skin. And the trick that I'm going to try next with blueberries and raspberries is to freeze them and then dehydrate them. So that's what we're going to do with that. Today, however, I want to work on making hardtack for my hike, which would be a really great way to get like just basic carbohydrates while you're out there, something that you can chew on. It's nothing exciting or anything like that, but having some hardtack is a really great, lightweight, shelf-stable, last you forever kind of thing that I want to do. Those are my feet. I am making it gluten-free, so I'm going to do one today. I'm going to use this 1-to-1 Bob's Red Mill gluten-free baking powder flour. And then the next time I'll use corn flour. My goal here is to make sure that there's no fat in these, or as little as possible, because when you put fat in it, it tends to go rancid. So I actually was just looking up what temperature to set my oven at, 375, and the recipe that I found for modern hardtack was had like a cup or something of like oil, and I was like, no, because then it goes rancid. Like, it's the same thing with your dehydrator. You don't want any fat in there because the fat is gonna go rancid and then ruin the whole point of having something that's gonna be shelf stable. So as you can see, maybe there, get a little focus, a little bit of focus. There we go. So 0 fat, low sodium. Obviously there's carbs, a little bit of protein. So this is just going to be basic. It's going to be flour and salt and water, and then bake. And I'm going to pause this and come back in a second. Alright, let's see if I can do this with my one hand here. So, 1. And because it is hardtack and it's just 3 ingredients, I'm not going to be super duper, oh my god, super careful about measuring. I've just got about a cup of flour here. Now, look at that. was that little thing there? I'm only making a little bit. I'm not going to make a whole lot right now. Today I'm just kind of messing around with it. I've got salt here. This is kosher salt. It has very large granules in here. I don't want to use that. So I'm just going to use some iodized salt here. Give me a sec. Ta-da! Alright. I'm just going to put a little bit in here. Not a whole lot. Probably not more than like a teaspoon. Because we want it to be delish, but we don't want it to be salty. I'm going to start with a half a cup. From what I understand, you want 1 part water to 1 part flour. So I'm just starting with this, and I'm going to set this one aside. And I'm going to get to mixing. Alright, coming back over here, that half cup, it was a 2-to-1, 2 parts flour to 1 part, wasn't quite wet enough. So I added a little bit more water, and it was actually too loose. So I added more flour, and what I've got now is a sticky kind of paste. I'm going to stop here for this. I'm just going to stop here for this. I'm not going to try and fight that anymore. And then my next step is I'm going to put this on a cookie sheet and bake it. Alright, so things that work and things that don't work. The last several minutes I have learned that gluten-free flour, if you get it to the consistency you want it to, with nothing else in it. This is my first biscuit attempt. My first hardtack biscuit. And as you can see, it's pretty dry. But my last hardtack biscuit just would not let go of my fingers. Although now it's sitting out next to my dehydrator and it's a little bit dry. But anyway. So the usual recipe, or the recipe that I've found before, has you doing the hardtack. You cut it up. You use cookie cutters, or you roll it out and you just cut it up. But this dough didn't want to get to that consistency. The more flour that I added after, like, I don't know, it wasn't even a full 2/3 of a cup of water to a cup of flour. So when you're doing gluten-free, the consistency is going to be a little bit different. The ratio is different. And that's fine. That's just the way things roll. Right? Right. I did take off my rings. You can see them. I usually wear rings. I'm not expecting this to spread too much. I'm going to rinse this off real quick. Being very careful not to drop my phone in the water. And then I'm just gonna put the holes in. I'm not being super fancy with this because you don't need to be, right? Because we're here. We're just experimenting with this. I am going to put a little bit of this slightly larger size salt, coarser salt on here, just because they're crackers. And the crackers are going to be salty. Alright, they're at 375 going in. See you in about a half hour. They've come out of the oven here. They're a little on the cracked side, but I'm gonna, it's a little bit soft in the center there, but I'm gonna let that hang out for a minute. See what it looks like when it's done. Maybe it'll just taste like Play-Doh. Who knows? Alright, and for the last part of my little video here, I've got a few of my hardtack biscuits. They are definitely hard. I think if I do this again, I'll do for just another few minutes longer because there is a little bit of give in the center here, and we don't want that. We want as much moisture gone from this as possible. So I would, on the other hand, that's a hard piece of tack. Okay. So I would definitely make sure that these are probably, I would say these are about a good thickness. They are super light, but I would definitely give them a little bit more time and a little less water, just to make sure that that doesn't have that little bit of give in there. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but it's got a little bit of give right there. Broccoli cheddar soup. Let's give this a try. Well, yeah, definitely chewy, so I'm gonna avoid that. Beyond that, not bad. Super plain. Just salt and flour. That's all I taste. Go really well with this. Pretty good. Thank you.